Greetings, loyalists and heretics. Welcome to Iron and Ceramite, where we once again enter the warp without an astropath. Hello guys, welcome back to another Iron and Ceramite battle rep. Today me and my Imperial Fists will be going against Shane's
Thousand Suns
for the first time. So, eager to see what's going to happen with this game. I don't know too much about the Thousand Suns. Are you feeling confident with your new army?
It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see. There's a lot of rules to remember. This will be it is literally the first time out. That's why you'll notice when we film some of the turns, they are only based at the moment, so there'll be no painting points for me this game. But hopefully it's enough to give a fair representation. It's going to be fun. It's also the first Crusade as well. So again, there's going to be a lot of reports, a lot of new rules that we're going to have to be looking at, and different bits and pieces. So there may be a few breaks while we are a bit slower than normal while we look up all of the rules and different bits and pieces. But excited to bring it to you and hopefully let you see how the Crusades can work.
Absolutely.
All right.
So without further ado, to the first round. So guys, this is my 50 power level army. I have my first set of 5 heavy intercessors here. They all have executor bolt rifles, and one of them has the executor heavy bolt rifle. Just down here I have the first 3 of my Blade Guard veterans. Don't need to say too much about them. Everyone knows Blade Guard veterans by now. Quite an essential part of my army, I think. Need to get them up there quick. Moving on, my Tech Marine, my Primaris Tech Marine, who has the Auric Aquila and the Hand of Dawn, so I can potentially get up to 3 more CP at the beginning of the game. Moving on to probably my spearhead, my figurehead of the army, my Redemptor Dreadnought. I really need him to come to play today, get into action quick and not to whiff like he did last time in my previous battle. Here is Gerhard Thane. He is my Warlord, Primaris Chaplain on the bike. He has the Benediction of Fury relic and he is indomitable. So I have spent 4 of my RP at the beginning of the game to get them 2 characters, their relic each and a Warlord trait each. Here is the painted, almost all painted 3 of my Blade Guard veterans. They are all in one squad, but they're going to probably be combat squadded anyway, so I put them separately. Moving up here is my heavy support guys, my 3 Eradicators. So they've all got melter rifles on them there, but I shall be using them as 2 melter rifles and 1 multi-melter. I'll let Shane know which one I'm going to use for that, just in case he needs to know. And then the last of my army, these 5 down here, heavy intercessors again, but these ones have got the Hellstorm bolt rifles each, and one of them has a Hellstorm heavy bolt rifle. So yeah, good to go.
Okay, just going to take you through the Thousand Suns list we've got for today. Obviously, as discussed, we are, unfortunately for me, they're only based, so as I said, no painting points, but we wanted to get this report out for you. So first up is this nasty character. That's the Mutalith Vortex Beast. So he's going to be doing a bit of shooting for me, as well as maybe a bit of crunching in combat. As we come through, we've got the Exalted Sorcerer on disc. So he knows 3 powers. That will be Time Flux, Smite, and Doombolt. Just to mention as well, these are all from the Cult of Time, so that's why they all at this point are going to know Time Flux. As we come up the back, we have a squad of 10 Rubric Marines, led by an Aspiring Sorcerer. I've got an Icon Flame here in the back to give me an extra Cabal point, as well as 2 Warp Flamers, maybe for a bit of Overwatch, and a Soul Reaper Cannon. And then we move down into one of the elite slots. This is the Scarab Occult Terminators, squad of 5. This one has, both of them will have the Hellfire missile racks. This one also has the Warp Flamer, and as before, Smite and Time Flux is known by these guys. And then in the back we have the other squad. So again, just 5. Still one of them with the Hellfire missile rack. This one has the Soul Reaper cannon, so hopefully we'll do a bit of damage. And then finally rounding out what is a fairly simple list for me, nice and easy in terms of unit size, is a squad of 10 Zangors. Try to keep them in the fights. They have a banner, as well as an Icon of Flame and a Brayhorn, so they get +1 to advance and charge, as well as re-rolling morale tests. With a morale or leadership of only 7, that might come in handy. So hopefully we'll see how they do. First run out for them. Psychic turn's probably going to take me a while, but other than that should be fairly straightforward. So we'll see how we go against Tom's Imperial Fists. Okay, welcome back. We've now deployed, so you can see both sides of the battle. We have the Imperial Fists in the background there, set in the attacker's deployment zone. We'll go around and have a look at that in a minute. This side in the defender's deployment zone, we can see how I've lined up. So over here on one objective, up top, we've got the 5 Scarab Occult Terminators. This one's the one with the Warp Flamer, and then just below them we have the 10 unit of Rubric Marines. Over in the middle we have the Exalted Sorcerer on disc, who has to be in the ritual site, so he's going to be there conducting his rituals as the battle continues. And then just in front of him is the Zangors, probably going to act as a screening unit, but that's what they're up to. And we come across, we've got the massive Mutilith Vortex Beast, quite hard to hide, but he should get some cover there depending on what happens. And then right at the back here, again, another unit of Scarab Occult Terminators, this one with the Soul Reaper Cannon, and again you can see just by the objective. We'll swing around the other side to have a look at the deployment of the Imperial Fists. And there's the ring light. So you can see there that we have hidden under there the Chaplain on bike, as well as some Blade Guard, then the Intercessors, and then over in the background there we have the Redemptor, a few more Intercessors, a few more Blade Guard, and then up top the Obliterators. So we're set and good to go. We rolled off. Tom, Eradicators, not Obliterators, they're the Chaos ones. We rolled off. Tom gets first go, so we'll see what he does with it, and we'll come back for a bit of an overview of what's happened after Battle Round 1.
Well, turn 1 complete for me and Shane, so that's the first battle round complete. As you can see, this is what I took out of Shane's army. I thought I was doing okay at one point, and then quite a few of my attacks, or my ranged attacks, failed, until the last moment. I ended up getting a charge in on Shane's Scarab Occult Terminators, I think they are.
That's correct.
And it was a bit of a strange fight. I was down here swinging up, but I managed to kill a few, only for him to end up saving them with some of these tricky little things that he'll probably tell you about in a minute. But it wasn't a great round for me, if I'm honest, but I'm in a decent position. I'm on 2 of my points, and in the next round I hope to be able to charge a few of my units into Shane, and yeah, we'll go from there. But there's not really too much to report. As you can see, I didn't take out too many of Shane's main units, and I need to do better in the next round. How did that go, Shane?
Yeah, it was an interesting first round, to be honest. When it first started, I was taking a lot of fire from Tom's Imperial Fists just over here. So the Eradicators, as always, putting in a lot of wounds, tried to desperately take out this unit of Scarab Occult Terminators, took it down to the Sorcerer, but he managed to hold on, which is good because then it meant I was able to bring one back, so that was nice. But I moved these Zangors over just to make sure I still scored that objective, or hopefully will score that objective. And then I also moved the Beast round, just so he could get his shots off. Took out Blade Guard, took some wounds off the... Oh, he didn't take any wounds off the Dread, actually, he missed, but he did take out Blade Guard, so we'll see what happens there. Sorcerer in the middle here, he did his ritual, so I've got 10 points on the board, so we'll see how that goes. The Rubric Eye here, the Rubric Marines, they didn't really do too much. They're not that close to where they need to be. They moved around a little bit so they could get shots off on the Chaplain on bike, did a couple of wounds. That was about it. So nothing much more there. They're quite short range because there's a fair few Warp Flamers in here. And then up to this unit here, again, they also use Time Flux, brought another Terminator back. Very important to do that. And again, they fired down they didn't do too much damage. So they took a couple of damage off the intercessors down there, the heavy intercessors. I think the other notable thing that happened, what really did the damage, was more the psychic phase. You can see a few of the dead over there, Tom's side. So a couple of psychic bombs took out the whole squad of Blade Guard, and then also a couple more of the heavy intercessors over here on one of his objectives. So, round one done. Obviously it's only 1,000 points, it's quite small compared to what we've done before. They do tend to be a bit swingy, and they do tend to go one way or the other. So I think this turn, as ever, will be quite pivotal, because if I can stay durable, it might make my turn when it comes to turn 2 a bit more impactful. If, however, they fall and they crumple a bit, I might be in a bit of trouble. Now.
Cool. Okay, so that's the end of my turn 2 and our battle round 2. Much better for me, I'm going to say, in that one. So I've taken out quite a few of Shane's models, as you can see down here. I thinned out his Zangors. Finally, in the end, in the melee round, in Shane's turn 2, I took out one whole squad of his Scarab Terminators. So I'm really happy with that, because he can't regenerate them now or bring them back or anything like that. And I think the main thing, obviously, was my Redemptor Dreadnought taking, I think, how many wounds? 14 wounds, was it?
It was 14, yeah, 14 in total.
Wounds, so pretty much almost everything off of this guy. And
yeah, he had 12 at the point that they went into combat.
And getting him off of the table. So I'm very happy. I feel like, as Shane was telling me before this, that I've got board control, but it just depends if I can actually roll well enough to take advantage of that. And Shane hasn't got any more tricks up his sleeve, but he hasn't got any CP left. So that could prove telling. I've still got my 3, and I'll have 4 going into the next round. So yeah, happy, thumbs up.
Okay, cool. So as you just heard from Tom, very successful round Imperial Fists wise. From a Thousand Suns point of view, not quite as successful. I was hoping here that the Mutilate Vortex Beast was actually going to hold in for one more turn, or at least hit back. Because he didn't, that has really damaged the chances. Because it's just 1,000 point games, once you start losing a few units, it really struggles. These guys here held in, which is nice, but they didn't really do any damage back to the Chaplain, which is a real shame, because that's where I needed them to do stuff. So they've got good AP, they've got good stuff, but the invuln saves are rolling off for him. There's a big difference between a 4+ and a 5+, and that's definitely what's helping Tom out at the moment. Sorcerer moved back a little bit because he can still do his ritual, so I'm still scoring points there, and that's fine, and I still have that one there. This unit here, probably the big success, moved forward and took a load of wounds off the Dread, but still not enough to quite finish him off, which means he's probably going to get healed by the Tech Marine. If he decides he's going to have a charge, we'll see. And then there is a sneaky Zangor that Tom did actually see, it's a bit of a shame, that's hidden under there. Obviously he's holding that point right now. As we go into turn 3, he's probably not going to keep holding it. But, as we said, I think we're at a point where it's probably quite pivotal. I think Tom has to do a lot to not win this now. Because it will probably end like towards a tabling. I'm ahead on points as we are now, but 3 turns left to go, and there's a lot of Imperial Fish units still viable compared to the Thousand Suns. So we'll see what happens.
Cool, and you can stop pointing your pencil at me now. So that was the end of our battle round 3. My turn, it didn't go great, but it went well enough to take out what I needed to take out. So I've cleared off the last Zangor that was hiding under here with this Blade Guard guy, and took him out quite easily, as you'd expect with that. Then I took out the rest of the Rubric Marines.
Rubric Marines,
so, here by just different various fire, but the ones who ended it were my Eradicators over here. And then that was pretty much it. I mean, there was I think I took out a Terminator as well, a Scarab Occult Terminator. And now Shane's only got these 3 models left, so all I really need to do is kill them, and that's it. He's got 2 rounds to do it. So, yeah, over to you, Shane.
So, interesting turn 3. Again, it's really attritional in the face of the weight of fire that these Imperial Fists can put down, especially with their Gravis armour that makes them really tough. So a bit of a struggle at the moment, but we're going to get there. The finals, as Tom said, this finals Angor finished up. However, over here, I stopped doing the ritual because I just needed the Warlord's psychic powers. I think one of the learnings I've got from this is that I went too into the ritual too early and just haven't been able to make use of him. So I was like, no, got to sort it out. So he came around here, finished off the chaplain, which then freed up these guys. And then also, whilst that was happening over here, we finally took down the Dread as well with a bit of smite action. So again, psychic really is the thing that's important with these Thousand Suns, and anything that stops your units pulling those psychic actions just really, causes you problems. So I probably went too early on trying to do the ritual. We'll see, because now I've got 2 turns to zip about on his disc and hopefully stay away and deny Tom 30 points and keep him healthy for the next crusade.
So you join us at the end of our battle round 4. You'll be shocked to see that these units are still on the table. Shane rolled quite well to save them. He was due some luck really, and I rolled quite badly. He also he'll tell you what happened with him in a minute. I'm happy. I don't see myself losing this game, so I can't say that I'm sad in anything that's happened. I've got all this shooting to come, just them 2 units to get rid of. And happy days. Over to you, Shane.
Yeah, so as we said, it's at the end of turn 4 now. My Warlord has had to use his relic, the Hourglass of Manat, which means he is now just on 1 wound. With this amount of shooting, I think that's going to happen. So Tom's probably going to get himself the 30 points. These Scarab Occults, you never know, they might hang on. So at least there'll be 1 unit that potentially avoids the Battle Scar rule. But otherwise, that's it. So I think I'm going to probably finish up in and around the 30-point mark. It's really going to be how much Tom can score now. So we'll go over to the turn 5. Could be a quick one, but let's see what happens. Okay, right, end of the match. So victory for the Imperial Fists. Well done, Tom.
Thank you.
Ended 90-30.
Yep, 90-30. I started off really well in this game. Thought it was going pretty well. Then Shane completely started rolling everything, and I thought, that's it. It's a game over for me. Like I always do, I always overthink things, and I started to think that's the end of it. But it just completely turned around for me. Shane got some really tough luck with his rolling. I got some better luck, and I was able to take control of the board, luckily, and in the end, wipe him out. But yeah, it was a good game. Obviously, I'm sure Shane's learnt a lot from it, more than me probably, because
First run out for the Thousand Suns, learned a huge amount. Basically, I think again, as with these things, whenever I come back to the end of a game, I was like, I should have done that, should have done this. Very much the case this time around in the Warlord. Probably spent a bit too much time doing the psychic rituals, which was good for points, but actually it meant what I didn't realise is how strong or how needed the psychic powers are. And the trouble is that I couldn't actually use them for mortal wound output because Tom did such a good job of taking units down. I was instead using them to bring units back. So it kind of got stuck in an ever decreasing circles rather than putting out smite bombs, as it were. So it was a tough match from that point of view. Went to turn 5 though, surprisingly, for a 1,000-point game. So that was quite interesting.
Yeah, I was quite shocked because it almost he had 1 unit left and it almost survived to the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was pretty cool. I'm really happy with the game. It went well, and there's a lot of my models left. So. But I still ended up getting a battle scar, and it had to be on my bloody Warlord.
Despite all of that, when we did the Crusade bits at the end, as I said, despite the fact I was wiped off, it did mean that I didn't get anyone moving up experience this time around. But they all passed their out of action tests, which mean they'll come back next Crusade stronger. But as you said, Tom, unfortunately, the curse of the 1 hit your Warlord.
Yeah. So yeah, I got my Warlord's now. He's blind in 1 eye apparently. So there you go. That's I think it's on 6s, wasn't it? It doesn't count as a
So he has to re-roll sixes.
Re-roll sixes, that's
So,
it. So yeah, he's blind in one eye from, for the time being. I've still got some RP left for the next game, just. But other than that, I got a battle honour, which I can dedicate to my eradicators, because they got 7 XP in total.
Yeah.
So I've given them re-roll 1s on their hit roll, which is going to come in really handy, obviously, because, I won't need a captain around, and I haven't got a captain in my force yet, so that's going to serve me well, I think. But overall, happy with the game, Shane, learning-wise?
Learning, absolutely. Yeah, no, it was a good game from that point of view. Learn every time. Like, it's always tough going second against like a gunline army like the Imperial Fists. It's just the amount of fire they can put out. I've also learned a lot about the joy of Gravis troops. That toughness 5 T5 just makes them really difficult to shift. Probably
extra wound as well,
yeah.
Extra wound, and the guns are 5 strength as well.
That's it. So
everything's a bit bumped up a little bit.
Just a bit much to try and chew through this early. I don't think there's much more I could have really done differently to really impact it, apart from maybe use the sorcerer a bit more early on to help throw out a few more bits and pieces. I think the taking down the dreadnought was nice, but probably a turn too late. And obviously losing the vortex beast that early was a bit of a shame. But otherwise, as I said, there's plenty of interest in there still for the Thousand Suns as an army list. I think there's a lot more I could do, and I'm sure I've forgotten loads as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, I've just realised, even as we're speaking, that I forgot that I can ignore light cover. So I've been using the fist for 7 games now, and I'm still forgetting things. So God knows how Shane's going to keep up to date with his new codex, with all their abilities.
No idea. That psychic phase is brutal.
Yeah, but good game. First Crusade game done.
Congratulations.
Thank
well
you.
done.
Thank you.
We'll have to see what the next one is.
Yeah.
Maybe against one of the other fellas first, and then we'll come back and regroup on the next battle in this series.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Roll on the next game.
Indeed.
As always, we would like to thank you for listening to our Iron and Ceramite podcast. If you liked us, then you can also find us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and any other good podcast services. Just remember, in the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war.